In this video, we're going to be showing you all kinds of different things. We're going to be going in every single angle possible. So I want to warn you ahead of time that we're all going to be all over the map for this one. But I really thought this would be a great demonstration to show you the versatility that working in CorelDRAW, knowing CorelDRAW, how you can do a lot of different things when you use CorelDRAW as your base. Now, Brenda with DigitalCuttersPlus.com down in Texas, she is a K&K distributor. I purchased my Eagle from her, which is a 24-inch vinyl cutter, and I also purchased my little Zing from her as well, which I love for a nice little small compact cutter, a really great machine. But I was talking with her yesterday, and we were looking at some different designs, and she was working on this Volleyball Heart design. And I said, "Hey, Brenda," I said, "could you send that to me? Because I think it would be a great video demonstration to show the versatility that we have here in CorelDRAW, and of course with you guys having your vinyl cutters, a lot of the different things that we could do if we understand the various tools in CorelDRAW." So she is working on this volleyball heart design as a rhinestone design, and basically we're going to create two versions of it. One version is just going to have all these lines be outlined in rhinestones, and then the other version will be all the lines outlined in rhinestones, and then all the areas within will be filled with rhinestones as well. And first, we're going to actually take a look at creating this volleyball logo in a manner that we can use for heat press vinyl material if we wanted to put this on a t-shirt, or if we wanted to cut it out with sign vinyl where we could apply it to a car or something like that. Okay, so we have a lot of ground to cover, and I'll show you all kinds of different tools in CorelDRAW for this one. Really going to take advantage of a larger skill set of tools for this project. Now, where do we begin? Well, first of all, we'll ungroup what I imported here. So Brenda drew a heart, and then we have a not so great piece of clip art with our volleyball. And when I select our volleyball and right click and drag over my heart, you see that little target that appears? That tells me something's going to happen here. So when I right click and let go, I choose the power clip inside option. And that's how we get the lines inside our heart. Okay? So that first step's pretty easy. Now, just for your information, if I need to adjust those lines and reposition, I just right click, I choose edit contents, and then I can fine tune the positioning of my volleyball inside my heart. When I'm done with it, I right click, finish editing this level. Okay, so that's how we get to that point. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And then up here, another thing I just wanted to point out to you, when I come into the view menu and choose wireframe, notice that it only is showing me the heart. It's kind of a weird thing that CorelDRAW does. When we power clip something inside of a container, even though it's a vector object that we put inside this container, CorelDRAW just ignores it. Basically, it doesn't see those vector lines. So just a little food for thought for you. Now, what we're going to do when we go to draw so what we need to do is we need to draw those vector lines, right? So what we're going to do is come to our outline pen tool here in CorelDRAW, F12 for your keyboard shortcut if you're into those kind of things. And because we had nothing selected, it says anything that we do now is going to affect any new items that are created, so that's fine. Go ahead and click OK. And what we're going to do is we're going to specify about a 30 pixel outline, and we can also define a color at this point. So we'll do, oh, I don't know, what are we feeling like today? How about a nice gold color? And we'll go ahead and click OK. So any new object that we create should be nice and thick outline, and it should be golden color. So now I'm going to switch over here to my 3-point curve tool, my favorite friend. And all we're going to do is click on the edge. If you can see that right there, it says edge, right? Under the view menu, we have the option to snap to objects turned on, and keyboard shortcut Alt-Z for those that are into those kind of things. So what we're going to do here is snap. Always make sure you're snapping edge to edge, okay? So make sure it says edge, click and drag over to this edge, let go, and then we can, the 3-point, we can move the curve, okay? Now if we were to draw this line, we can't snap to an edge, so we don't want to draw that line. If we draw this line, we can't snap to an edge either, but we are at an intersection point, so we can draw that line. So we're going to go edge to the intersecting point, which is right there, and then pull down. Okay, so now we have that. So now the next time when we draw this line segment, we have something we can snap to. We can't draw this one because we can't snap to that, but we can draw this. So let's go ahead and do that. Edge, make sure it says edge, and then create that little curve object. And then we'll do the same thing down here where we'll click and drag, edge, and there's that object there. Now we'll come back up here. Now we do have two edges to snap to for that one. Let's go ahead and take care of this one. So we're going to go from edge to node. Okay, so that takes care of that one. And then we're going to do this little line segment. And I'm going to deliberately make a mistake here so I can show you something later. We're going to leave a little bit of a gap right here. So we're going to click right here, click and drag, click to edge over here on this one. Make sure it says edge when you let go. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but it does say edge. See where it says edge? So it does say edge there, and then pull. Okay, so now we have that nice little curve. And then we'll come down here and we'll take care of this one. So edge to node, right, at the intersection point there. And then finally up here, we're going to go from edge, scroll down a little bit, to edge. And then the 3-point right there. Okay? So that takes care of the outlines. So what I would do at this point is I would get rid of our power clip item. So we're going to right click on our heart and choose the extract contents, and our volleyball will be selected, and we'll just move it over here. So now we just have our heart. Now what I like to do is at every stage I like to create a duplicate. So if I ever need to go back a stage, I have that final point. So what I would do is I would select this, and I'm just going to come over here, right click and drag, and make a duplicate. So now that we have our duplicate, what we're going to do is we're going to just grab that duplicate, move it over a little bit, and we're going to resize this to the final size that I'm going to be using, which for me is going to be 7.5 inches in width, which gives us about 6 3/4 inches tall. Now what we're going to be doing first is showing you how we can take what we've already created and very easily and very quickly convert this into a vinyl design that we could cut either out of sign vinyl, or we could cut this out of a heat press material and do a 2-color volleyball heart for a heat press material to put on a shirt. So the first thing we need to do is take our heart shape, and we're just going to duplicate that because we're going to use that a little bit later. And now we're going to modify our outline properties here on our heart. So what we're going to do is just select the entire heart, come over here to our outline pen tool, and we're going to change the width of the outline to, let's try, well, I'll tell you what, let's try 60 pixels. And we'll go ahead and come down here and click OK. And now you can see we have a much thicker outline. Now I am going to make a small adjustment for this over here, this line here. So let's just zoom in there and take a look at that. Switch over to my shape tool here and click on the line. And all I'm going to do is take this end of this line and snap it down to the edge or node of this other one. And then up here, do the same thing. Always making sure to see where it says edge. And then if we want to, we could fine tune and give that a little bit more curvature, like so. So just a minor adjustment there. Wouldn't have to do that, but I just thought it would look a little bit better if we did. Now we have all of our outlines in place. If we go to our view menu and look at wireframe, you'll notice that we have basically just a single line. So if we were to send this to the vinyl cutter right now, you could see that we wouldn't get the results that we want because we don't have the thickness of our outline. So we need to change that. We'll go back to enhanced mode here. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the entire heart, and we're going to come up here to the arrange menu and look at this option here called convert outline to object. Okay. Now if we click on that, or we could use our keyboard shortcut Control Shift Q, but if we convert our outlines to an object, visually nothing really happened. But if we go back to the view menu and look at the wireframe mode, now you can see what's happened. Our outline is no longer quote-unquote a property where we can change the thickness. We cannot change the thickness of these lines now because now these lines have actually been turned into an object. Now again, if we look at it, you see we have lots of overlapping issues, right? So if we were to send this to the cutter right now, obviously the final result would not be what we want either. So what we need to do is take all of those lines and simply use the weld function here in CorelDRAW and weld all of those together. And now you can see that is going to cut out absolutely perfectly and give us a great cutout for setting it to a vinyl cutter to cut this out of heat press material. Now we're going to go back to the enhanced mode here, and now remember we have this duplicate heart up here. All I'm going to do is select both of them, and then we're going to use a little keyboard shortcut, which is C to center. So now you can see the heart is centered over the outlines, and then if we hit the letter E on our keyboard, E for Edward, now you can see that everything's all lined up. Now if we go back to the wireframe mode here, now you can see this a little bit more closely. So you can see now where that is perfectly lined up all the way around. You see that line there? So it's perfectly lined up exactly like we need it to be. Alright, so let's go back to our enhanced mode here. And let's go ahead and select that heart shape and give it a color. So let's give it maybe a nice hot pink. And notice that right now the heart is on top of the outline. Well, if we go Control page down, that sends it back one. Okay, that's a nice little shortcut. Shift page down would send it all the way to the very bottom of everything. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the entire heart, and then we'll go into Easy Stone here, and we're going to come over to our miscellaneous tab, and let's add a 50mm weed box to this. Okay, go ahead and minimize Easy Stone again. And then for our outline, instead of blue, maybe we'll do a white outline. And then you can see how great this would look on a shirt. So we can use the same process that we would need to use for rhinestones and just make a small left-hand turn and do something a little bit different. And now we have a nice two-color design for our heat press material. So if I pull this aside, you can see we just have our heart shape, right? And then our outlines would be cut out of white, and then so we'll press our pink material onto our shirt, and then we'll line up the outline to cover up the edges of the heart, and we would go ahead and heat press this on a shirt. Now for me, I can also go the next step, and that is to copy this design and come into my embroidery software. So I'm going to hit File and New. I just want to show you kind of how this process can go a lot of different directions. We're going to create a new graphic here, and all I'm going to do is paste right into my embroidery software, and then I'm going to come up here and just click on my zoom, and now you can see this is my embroidery file. Now for my outline here in my embroidery file, I'm going to switch over to satin stitches, and I'm going to ungroup this. So my pink heart, I'm going to say that is going to be a piece of applique, and now you can see how I have my outline stitches. Now I do need to see this right here, this corner. That doesn't really appeal to me. So what I would do is I would come in here with my divide tool, and I can make a small adjustment there. Watch this. Just that little adjustment, much cleaner there, right? And then right here, I might just make a little adjustment there because I just think that would look better. Same thing over here, little tiny adjustment there. Sometimes, you know, it doesn't turn out exactly the way we want it. Watch what happens. See when I went to the edge right there? See that? But if I pull it back just a pinch, it takes care of that. So you see that doesn't look exactly the way I would want it to look, but there we go. See, we can just keep fiddling with that, and then you'll kind of get the look that you're looking for. And this is using the Drawings Pro software. This is brand new, which is Drawings Pro version 6. And then just, you know, you just kind of clean up a couple of those little spots right there. Let's see here. Let's see here. Well, it doesn't want to clean this one up. There we go. Now we have a small little change there. There. So now you can see how that looks. And the rest of them, well, there's one down here too we need to fix. So we'll make that little adjustment there. Alright. So now you can see that is my embroidery file. So because I chose this heart to be a piece of applique, what it does is it allows me, it will stitch a placement stitch, and then I could set my heart down for my applique, and then it'll do a tack down stitch along my heart, and then it's going to do all these satin stitches on top of around the outline and in the middle of the heart, and then I'd have a great looking design to put on a sweatshirt or whatever I wanted to for my volleyball heart there. So a lot of different applications using those same techniques that we use in a rhinestone design. If we have these other options, you know, I do embroidery. A lot of you might do that. That's some of the different options that we have available to us. Okay, so now the next part we need to take a look at is actually creating the rhinestone design.